Good evening, Cubs and Cardinals fans. We're back, and if you look carefully at your screen, there are 4 slots there. Aaron Mullins joining us. It's unbelievable. Elliott's here. He's not fully healthy, but he's here. Brecklyn showing us yet another background. She's, I assume, not too far away from me because she was in town on a covert mission from St. Louis headquarters to ruin the Cubs game today. So that I think that mission was accomplished. The Cubs made a game effort to come back, but Brecklyn exerted her influence and forced them to lose. So, Aaron, Elliott, Darth Brecklyn, welcome to the Pi Day Show, Season 3, Episode 14. How you guys doing?
Hey, doing okay. Glad to be back. I've been gone for a couple of shows, so.
Yeah, you have. We've missed you, man.
I know. I missed the Ron coming back for a short period, and just things are going good. House is on the market. I'm trying to get it sold, and all my honeydew list is done, and so we just need somebody to buy it now.
So any of you lovely listeners, if you're in the market for a house, contact Elliott at
just outside of Milwaukee.
Outside of Milwaukee. It's one of the
How
top
about you?
areas in Wisconsin. So.
How about you, Brecklyn? What's new? Where you at? Bring everybody up to speed.
Yeah, I am in Illinois. As you mentioned earlier, I did get to go to the Cubs game earlier today. I am currently stationed at boyfriend's hometown house here, so I'm infiltrating the office right now doing this podcast. But for what's new, I hope you're ready. It's been a busy week. I moved, graduated from college, and announced to my family and now the world that I made it into law school. So,
yes!
Yay!
All right, that's it. Show's done.
Show's done.
That's it.
Bye, everyone.
Nice work.
Congratulations. So, where will you be attending law school, Bree?
I will say it's the same school that I was attending for undergrad, but for law in Des Moines. So, I mean, that basically narrows it down. I'm going to Drake Law. So,
and what do you project to be your legal focus? What do you want to do?
So I still have quite a bit of time to figure it out, but right now I'm looking into criminal litigation. So potentially being a defense attorney.
Wow.
We'll
That's nice.
Yeah.
Impressive.
I'm very excited. I start classes in June, and so I've got a little bit of turnaround here, and I am super excited. So
that's outstanding. Good for you.
Thank you.
Aaron, what's new with you, man? I know you're a busy man.
Not really that much. I am planning on going on vacation this weekend, going to visit some family down in Arkansas, and they actually have a AA team in Little Rock, so we're gonna take an opportunity to go watch a game. They're actually playing the Springfield Cardinals, so I'll be able to get a little bit of a look at some of the young guys coming up. I love going to games at that park. It's a super friendly atmosphere. It's actually really easy to mingle with players and stuff like that too. So I'm hoping to do my best to, engage with some of them and see where it goes.
Who's your dream get for that trip?
There's not too many guys on the AA roster that are like huge prospects in this Cardinal system. There are a couple guys like Dylan Carlson, Junior Fernandez is down there. Those are probably the top 2 that I'd like to try to meet if I could. Seth Elledge is another guy that shows some promise that's down there, but a lot of their top prospects right now are awkwardly either in Single A Peoria or Triple A Memphis right now. So it's kind of a weird spot in Springfield right now.
Very good.
Fair.
Yeah, that sounds like it'll be a good time.
Yeah, I hope you have fun.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Going to visit some family too, so it'll be a good trip.
Outstanding.
Good.
Well, listen, Aaron, we didn't get you on here for chit chat. We know you're driving home, and we appreciate you joining us to fill in here. So the reason we got you on, it's been a rough month for the Cardinals. They're either on the verge of, or they've solidified a below 500 month.
Oh, I didn't want to hear you say it.
Oh. Yeah. at the moment. But yeah, this month has been pretty. What's the word? Garbage. Yeah, it's been pretty dull.
Garbage.
Yeah, dumpster fire. Actually, not just
That's
garbage,
my business. Garbage is my business. Come on now.
I mean, I don't remember who said it. I think I was listening to the ESPN radio, and I'm sure it's still true. But before the Royals series, it was like they were 4-13 in their last 17 games, and they scored more runs in the 4 wins than they did in the 13 losses combined. So
Oh my God.
it's either they're scoring like 10 runs or more, or they're scoring like 2 runs, and it's aggravating. There's no consistency right now with this team, and it's unfortunate because, you know, yeah, like this team has a lot of talent, but pretty much no one is performing up to their standards except probably Paul DeYoung, who has exceeded his expectations so far, and then Marcelo Zuna at least has shown a lot of power. It's been nice considering his kind of lackluster year last year. But I mean, outside of that, everyone's been kind of just okay. The rotation's been pretty terrible. The bullpen's actually been probably the best part of the team right now. But when your starters can't go 5 innings, you're putting a lot of workload on the bullpen, and that's not ideal moving forward.
Which was the Cubs case the first week and a half of the season. It was the same thing.
Yeah.
The starters weren't going the distance.
Yeah.
So Aaron, you mentioned Paul DeYoung kind of exceeding expectations, but I seem to recall somebody, and I don't quite remember who it was. Somebody saying that we should watch out for Paul DeYoung as a potential MVP candidate this year.
Yeah, you should probably pull up that other episode I was on. I mean, it is looking pretty good so far. We talked a little bit before we went live.
Uh-oh.
It hasn't been that drastic though. The numbers that I really like looking at right now for him is his strikeout rate, and his walk rate, especially when you compare it to last season, because his walk rate is about 25% to about 15%. Drastic differences. And so when you see him putting the ball in play as much as he is right now, it doesn't really look like a fluke, because you can tell he's seeing the ball better because he's not striking out as much and he's walking so much more that he's being selective with his pitches. So there's a reason. I don't know if it's still true, but for the majority of the season, he has led or been in like the top 3 in baseball.
Elliot, I'm speechless.
Your
I need a
cough
mute button.
knocked Aaron out of existence, apparently.
Aaron was making a brilliant point, and Elliot serves up a nice loud cough just to service Ron, because Ron was hoping he would crack a beer right in front of the mic.
Sorry, Ron. I've already got it open, so actually, it's just a LaCroix.
Oh, I hear an Aaron.
Yep.
Did I go?
You did.
It's okay.
Sure
Elliot covered it up with an extraordinarily loud hacking cough. So
See, I
we're all
heard
good.
that.
Of course you did.
Yeah. Why
Like
wouldn't
that.
you?
Like I heard that, and then I think and then my side went dead. So I'm assuming I went dead part of the way through my little rant there.
Probably because of Elliot.
Yeah, his cough
Oh well.
knocked you away. Anyway, so as you were saying.
I don't know exactly where I ended up at, but
I think the last thing we heard was you were talking about DeYoung's walk rate and strikeout rate being the indicators that you were looking at.
Yeah, for sure. Like, in his minor league career, he hit like between 280 and 300. His first year in the bigs, he hit 285. Last year he only hit like 230. But his walk rate improved, his strikeout rate improved. And he put together a pretty good season altogether. But this season, like, everything's working. His strikeout rate has dropped 10%. It's significantly lower. It went from 25% to 15%. His walk rate has doubled from like 6.5% to close to 13% right now. And so that 313 average doesn't really look like a fluke because you can tell that he's seeing the ball better. And he's like top 5 in the major leagues in doubles right now. He doesn't have quite as many home runs, but I'm fine with him hitting doubles too. It just shows that he's barreling up the ball well. He's seeing the ball well. And if he continues to do that, I still think he's got like a 950 OPS right now. If he can continue that for an entire season, I definitely think he'll get those MVP votes. So my prediction's looking a lot better. There's more people joining the bandwagon as we speak.
But it's going to be hard to get any media attention if the team continues to play like this.
Oh yeah, we've seen it. And I'm not trying to be a St. Louis homer, but we've seen it around like the mass media. They don't love talking about the Cardinals anyway. And even when they were winning, they were like, typical Cardinals winning like always. So now when they're losing, they definitely don't want to talk about them. And so Paul DeYoung's having an out of his mind type of season, but he's really not getting a whole lot of talk about with him. I mean, he's like top 3 in the major leagues in WAR, but you don't really hear much about him because he kind of goes under the radar. He's not a flashy defender, but he's a very good defender. He's not the guy hitting 15 home runs right now. He's at like 8. He's just doing a lot of things right, and he's kind of just floating under the radar. So, like, maybe at the end of the year, if he's still doing those type of things, some voters will take notice. But, yeah, I mean, if the team isn't doing well, not that many people are going to know who Paul DeYoung even is.
Yeah, and, I think one of the things that he struggles with, too, is that he's not anywhere near, the 5-6 biggest names, most recognizable names on that squad. Not at all. That team is loaded with names who are not performing.
Nope.
And even if you take out the longtime veterans like Molina and Goldschmidt and Fowler and Wainwright, you take all those guys out of the mix, he's still being overshadowed by Harrison Bader. And probably also Colton Wong to a certain extent because, at least Colton Wong received some votes in the Gold Glove. So he's at least in the front of mind for some people. I think you're right, Aaron. I think it's going to take quite a bit for Paul DeYoung to break through.
Yeah, and like we were kind of talking about a little bit earlier, his numbers are already looking really good, but you've got guys like Carpenter and Goldschmidt in front of him who have been struggling for pretty much the entire year. So he's not really getting a whole lot of chances for RBIs because, those guys aren't getting on base consistently enough. Goldschmidt's batting fine. He kind of had his struggles last year and put it together. I'm not really too worried about Goldschmidt. Carpenter is at least walking to an extent, but kind of as we were talking about earlier, I'm tired of him acting like an umpire. If he stop, just swing the bat. I don't care if it's close, especially when the ump has already called that pitch a strike. Swing the bat, please. I beg you.
You need to understand, he knows. He can see it. It's in his mind's eye. And if the umpire says that he's wrong, that's just, the umpire's wrong. That's it. One of these days, Matt Carpenter is just going to walk to first base and then not move and be like, no, this is mine. He's going to stop arguing and just going to go ahead and do it.
And then when he gets thrown out of the game, they can put in Bader, who can at least run for him.
There you go.
Ooh.
And that's another problem that the Cardinals have right now. It's a good problem, but they have 4 capable outfielders for 3 spots.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they all excel at very different things. Bader brings you defense. Ozuna brings you power. Martinez brings you hits. Yep. And Fowler brings you on base. Every one of them brings something very different.
I thought you were going to say that Fowler brings outrage from the fan base.
No, I'm fine with Fowler playing. If him playing center field gives him confidence and helps him, draw walks and play to the best of his ability, I don't care.
It's kind of like
he's producing.
It's kind of like allowing Carpenter to lead off.
Has been lollygagging.
Yeah, it's a bit like allowing Carpenter to lead off. If that's where he's going to perform best, you do it.
Like, where would you put him though? Because statistically, he's worse in every other part of the order. So if you think he's going to start massively improving by putting him 6, I don't really see that either. The only thing you're really trying to upgrade is maybe just upgrade your number 1 spot. But at that point, you're also going to downgrade your number 6 because, statistically, the only place he's legitimately been able to be a hitter is in the leadoff position, which really sucks. Because when he's not getting on base, that doesn't set a good tone for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that's incredibly fair. And then I'm trying to think of how to formulate this. We were talking about people who are getting on base pretty well. I think, isn't Jose Martinez leading in on base percentage or something like that? I could be completely off on that. Or
He's
just like
one of the
batting
top
average.
3 for sure. I think Fowler honestly leads the team in on base, but I
See,
think
that wouldn't
Martinez,
surprise me.
But I think Martinez is in the top 3. I think it is Fowler, Martinez, and DeYoung are the top 3, but I don't know the exact order.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's nice to hear, but whenever you're looking at this past month in general, it's just, if you could put your finger on a single thing that you would identify saying, okay, this is what's completely running the train off the rails, can you find a single thing, or is it just that the train stopped working?
Oh, it's the train has stopped working.
Okay, so the train is on fire.
Yeah.
How do we fix it?
I've seen a lot of tips lately
about it, like, because they were trying to talk about. We were talking about the rotation, and this past start for Michaelis, he goes 1 1/3 and gives up 7 earned runs. And everyone's like, "Oh, see, this was a terrible signing." Like, yeah, his first 3 starts in March, he had like an ERA of 1.6.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really look at that as like, oh, this is what kind of pitcher he is. Look at his statistics in Texas as a starter when he pitched in Arlington. He's very bad in that ballpark. That has not changed, apparently. I think his ERA in Arlington is over 20 now.
Wow.
It's really bad. But, sometimes those things happen. But the entire rotation right now has a fielding independent pitching over 4.3. Like, everyone in the rotation has been awful. The bullpen has been fine. There's a few guys right now in the bullpen that I'm like, I would go to them no matter what.
Who are
But
those
when
people?
you have to start going, Gant, Brebbia, Martinez, and Hicks.
Okay. Sorry, carry on. I was just curious.
Those 4 guys, whenever, wherever. Miller, to some extent, he's looked a little better in some of his recent outings, but what was it? The one in Atlanta, he ended up giving up a home run, which kind of sucked. But, I mean, if he can get it figured out, that's a weapon that we would desperately need. But the bullpen's been fine. It's just been the offense and the rotation. Unfortunately, that's 2 very huge parts of what makes a baseball team.
What? You mean pitching and hitting are important in baseball?
Isn't it crazy? Especially both of those things at the same time. Like, what is happening?
I've been reading the wrong rule book.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was like a couple weeks ago. The Cardinals scored. They had that 17-run outburst. And then they had Wainwright go 7 innings the next day, and Michaelis went 7 innings the next day, and the Cardinals scored 1 run in each of those games and lost both of them. Like, you cannot have that, especially when the starters actually give you good starts. You cannot have those type of performances.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah.
The Cubs at the end of the last season.
Yeah, it's been a rough one right now for St. Louis. I'm glad they have an off day today because I didn't want to come home from work and be mad.
Fair.
They've got the game tomorrow. Michaelis is on the mound against Atlanta. I'm hoping for the best. He does pitch pretty well at Busch Stadium. If I had money, I'd probably go to that game, but it is what it is. The series against the Royals was a massive opportunity for them to prey on a pretty bad team, and they only managed a split, and that's disappointing.
Disappointing. That's putting it lightly.
Well, if I told you my actual feelings, we'd probably need one of those beep things that you put on there, because I was pretty pissed, but because I was at work when the first game came on, and I was like, all right, we'll see how this goes. And I was helping a customer, and I came back, and it was 7-0. And I'm like, what in the actual? I'm like, it was rough.
Let me ask you guys, that actually leads to a interesting question that I think popped up a little bit yesterday. And let me ask you both, Aaron and Brecklyn, how much longer can Waka continue to put up these stinkers of starts? I mean, as an outsider, I've grown pretty accustomed to him being pretty lights out in the first half. And then falling apart in the second half of the season. This is unlike him. How much more rope can they give him?
Aaron, I'll let you take it first.
Unfortunately, well, here's the thing. There are reports coming out that Alex Reyes is going to rejoin the Cardinals in the rotation, and that's set to happen mid-June. I don't think we can wait until mid-June because Waka has been very, very bad. Hudson has been better in May, but for the majority of his time, he's been very, very bad. We cannot have two of our 5 starters being very, very bad, which both of them have been. They've had a couple decent starts, and the rest of it has been garbage. Waka should be better than this, but honestly, I would give it maybe one more start and just throw him in the bullpen. I don't care what you do with him. Throw him on the IL, give him a phantom injury. I don't care.
Wow.
But he's not helping your team right now.
All right.
In any capacity.
So who then bridges the gap to Reyes joining the team in mid-June? You certainly don't want to rush him.
Either Gomber or Ponce de Leon. I think both of them have shown that they can be capable. I think I'd lean Gomber only because he's a lefty and maybe that'll work. But personally, I'm a huge fan of the Cardinals going after Bumgarner, especially if they can put it together and put some wins on the board, because Bumgarner's postseason success alone makes me think that could be a great fit. Whether or not it happens, I don't know. But I would love them to go after Bumgarner. I don't think Keuchel's a great idea still because, he's going to be at least a month out before he's even ready to pitch. So at that point, just wait on Reyes. But I'd probably go Gomber, but either Gomber or Ponce can do the job fine. But Waka's not helping you right now. At least Hudson's trending in the right direction right now.
How about you, Brecklyn? How much longer are you giving Waka?
Call me the forever optimist, but I really just want to take this entire month and throw it out the window. And, if Waka has just been absolutely trash all season long and I am unaware of all of that, something's off to where there's so many things going wrong all at once that I hesitate to start changing absolutely everyone, like switching out players, rather trying to find maybe something else that's going on. So I don't want to say like, one more start and you're done, but because I think Waka's a good pitcher. I do agree that I think Ponce de Leon would be able to get it done, as well as Gomber. If he had to be sent back down to AAA for a little bit just to, grease the wheels or something. I don't know. I'm hesitant to say anything like that because I think that it'll be something that he'll get figured out here pretty soon. I would almost give him, not too much leeway, but more like 2-3 starts and then see him out of there if it's still something that isn't getting fixed, along with other parts of the team being able to, I don't know. The phrase that came to my mind was come to their senses, which that's not how baseball works. But the thing that I'm
going to have to jump off of here, but.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I will have to jump off of here, but I'll probably come back in the comment section
here
in a little while. But
yeah. Thanks for joining us, Aaron. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be happy to come on anytime.
Cool.
Sounds
you have a good night, man.
Bye, Aaron.
Later, you guys.
All right. So, Brecklyn, while we wait for Elliott to get back online again, and maybe he can join us by announcing himself with a cough. Tell us a little bit about the game. I know you told us the background as far as where you were and everything, but what was the experience? This wasn't your first game at Wrigley, right?
No, it wasn't. So I was very far along the left field side, so much that I couldn't see the video board there at Wrigley. So much that whenever a ball went out of the stadium, I was able to watch it bounce in the street. Really fun. Being able to listen to all the Cubs fans cheer really loud when it was a pop-up in the infield, thinking that it was a home run. Ate the messiest Chicago dog I've ever had in my life. And let me tell you, I'm glad that the forces of me being there kind of disrupted the Cubs enough so that you guys didn't win, but it was still an entertaining game to watch. So I don't know what was going on with Lester today. He was not doing a very good job. And the Cubs just seemed kind of sloppy. You guys gave it your best effort to try to get some things to happen. Tyler Chatwood in the 9th inning was probably my favorite part of the entire game.
We prefer that you call him Cy Chapwood.
It's
Chatwood. Sorry, Cy. That's his new nickname, Cy.
No, I think I still like Tyler Chatwalk. Is that what it was?
That's what it was last year, but it's not this year.
I'm still confused. Again, I think maybe all of the good juju that was around the Cardinals just got sucked into Tyler Chatwood, and he's like holding it in a jar or something.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
No, I don't want that.
That would be fantastic. Are you kidding?
Nope. Oh, and I do have to mention behind me at the game, this is an important note, the 3 or 4 rows right behind me were all middle schoolers. And so being able to hear their takes on baseball as well were very enlightening. So I'm glad that I was there to have that 4 rows of extra opinions.
What were their takes?
So a lot of them were concerned with Snapchat. So I'm going to leave those out, even though I did learn about some filters. One was very determined. She's saying, I watch baseball every day. And the other girl with her was saying, how do you have time? It's like, well, you make time. And that's how you know she cares. And mainly we learned that Javi Baez is the best MLB player of all time ever. And Chris Bryant's appearance was like seeing a unicorn. So
I think Ron would agree with the latter. And I think it's Aaron and Ron. And quite a few Cardinals fans might agree with the former. No, they wouldn't.
I will admit, so there's been a long time where I'm talking about, well, I don't think Chris Bryant is very good. And, he's not very good at bat. He did turn a bunch of stuff around. So I will say he got better. I never thought he was very good.
What?
Yeah, we've been over this. Aaron's yelled at me multiple times. People throw stats in my face.
Brecklyn, if you're going to be an attorney, you're not supposed to smoke weed in such copious amounts that you think that Chris Bryant is not a good hitter.
College Player of the Year, Golden Spikes Award, Rookie of the Year, MVP. How much more do you need?
Something from, the past 2 years.
World Series ring. Okay, last year he was hurt.
Uh-huh.
And he was batting over 300 and on pace to beat every stat that he had the year that he won MVP. And this year, he's on pace again.
I mean, I'm here to agree with you guys for once. Ever since he switched over to, what is it called? The
Axe Handle Bat?
Yeah, that one.
Him and Cody Bellinger.
That's got nothing to do with it.
No.
He was heating up before that.
Well, anyway, I was agreeing.
Okay.
But
and what are your feelings on well, I have to say this. Jacob, you're an idiot. Awards are cool, but results are better. Usually awards follow results. No offense. But total offense. Are you kidding me? What are your feelings on Anthony Rizzo, since you're an expert on the Cubs roster? Now that you've sat with the middle schoolers.
Now they sat with the middle schoolers. Yeah. Middle schoolers never reacted whenever Anthony Rizzo came up to bat.
Okay. And Brecklyn?
I like Rizzo. I don't know. I'll say that.
He broke the Budweiser sign last night. Yeah.
No, Florida man vandalized the Cubs scoreboard. Yeah, I saw that.
That was awesome.
That was pretty cool. I'll admit that.
Yeah,
that was pretty impressive. I will give him that.
That was a shot. It helped that the wind was howling out of the park last night, but still, he put a charge in that one. That's a home run anywhere on any night.
I was going to say, if you want to bring that up, that's fine. I was just going to give it to him, but...
So, which has been more enjoyable in the month of May? The Cubs hot streak, where they've only dropped, one series all month, or seeing the Cardinals completely fall apart and currently languishing in 4th place?
Ugh.
Ooh, man, that's a tough...
Just, you know what? So here's what I want you to do, Elliott. I want you to approach this kind of like you were tasting a fine wine, okay? So I don't want you to just slug it down, okay, and just get the feeling of the alcohol. I want you to roll it around on your tongue, let it linger there, let it play with your taste buds, allow your body to absorb it, and then react to the fourth place St. Louis Cardinals.
I've really enjoyed the struggles that they have had lately, and the fact that their pitching has just absolutely fallen apart has just been so enjoyable lately. And that when I get on my MLB app and I go to check the scores and it's the 5th inning and it's 10-4, and I'm like, that is what I'm talking about. And then watching, there's been a lot of Cubs late games lately, and so they've been doing well. I mean, the Phillies series was tough, but man, this last month, the offense is coming from everybody. Albert Amora Jr. is starting to look good. Wilson is still hitting. We got Caratini back, whose bat has looked fantastic. Bryant and Rizzo are looking like themselves. Kyle Schwarber, I know he's struggling to hit the ball, but the dude has a 400 on base percentage, OBP. I mean, so he's still getting on base, which, as a leadoff hitter, that's what you kind of want to see. So it's just, I've really enjoyed watching the Cardinals lose.
Elliott, I have to give you props. The way that you, I mean, obviously you've switched your mic, but the way that you really leaned into the microphone and dropped that husky voice even lower, really went for it. That my hat's off to you.
Yeah.
All we needed was a little bit of Al Green maybe to play underneath that.
Yeah.
That would have been nice. A little Reverend Al. And I'll have to go back and fix that in post.
Yay! We're so happy.
We are. Good times.
Yeah.
And to
Like
think,
Fox.
Aaron Mullins predicted when Elliott and I were ready to string ourselves up in week 2 of the season. Aaron Mullins himself predicted they'll be fine. They'll fix it. They'll put it together.
And you know, we both were kind of like that, but it was just this scary feeling that, God, was Pacoda right? Is this the Cubs of 2019? You know, is the bullpen just going to be god awful every single time, or the pitcher's only going to be able to barely make it to the 5th inning? You know, but there's been some pretty good stories that have come out of the bullpen with Ian Kinsler. Mike Montgomery looked good. Tyler freaking Chatwood. I mean, holy shit.
Cy Chatwood. When you dropped out, one of the times you dropped off, I corrected Brecklyn. We prefer to refer to him as Cy Chatwood now.
No shit.
Please get his name right.
He has been fantastic. So if he can continue that without much regression, very, very nice. So,
yeah. I tell you, though, my fear is how much longer the bullpen. There it is. Missed that one, Ron? We're going to turn that into a ringtone. And we'll put it up on iTunes. We'll sell it for 99 cents.
Sorry, I pulled my mic out. Did it come through the phone?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I did.
Jesus.
Okay.
You tried. No, we need to make the song out of all the random noises that Elliott has made throughout the show. You know, the beers popping open, sneezes, random songs, motorcycles outside.
I don't have a mute button. I don't have one on this microphone. I don't have it on here.
You know what? Give me a heads up and I can mute you here.
All right, you see the thumbs up. Mute me.
Okay. Go for it. Make all the noise you want right now. There you go. Clear it. That's it. Good boy. Go. Oh, do it again. Oh, I'm not quick enough on the mute.
You got to be quicker than that, Pete.
You going to survive? Do I need to call 911?
You know what? I got sick. And then it was just a small cough, and then it's just been kind of a dry cough all week. And then today, it's just like, it kind of blew up on me.
Are you making a metaphor for how the Cardinals have been playing baseball over the past month?
Yeah.
Because I thought we were over. I thought we were
Absolutely.
No,
over that. Ugh.
no, we're never over it.
You're talking about, holding it in your mouth and really, absorbing all parts of it. And
Savor it. Really need to let it play.
it tastes like dirty socks and laundry that you left like over a day in the washer because you forgot about it. Like all that just mixed in together.
See,
No.
that's because
to move
you're
on.
expecting that's because you're expecting a wine that's made from new grapes, something that's more new world, a California Chardonnay, say, something that's going to be real fruit forward, almost a fruit bomb. But what we're asking you to do, Brecklyn, is we're asking you to enjoy one of those old world wines from France or Italy, where the grapes really have to struggle in order to grow. And so they really take on the characteristics of the soil and the air and the surrounding land. And yeah, sure, to an untrained palate, it may taste like, dirty socks. But to somebody who's learned how to savor that vintage, and I have to tell you, the last 4 years vintage of St. Louis Cardinals baseball has just been impeccable.
It has been
I
fantastic.
expect Cubs fans to relish the taste of failure, but for someone like me and my esteemed palate, I prefer something a little better.
Well, and that's why you were at Wrigley Field today, because you decided that you wanted to enjoy some of the finest wines
You're
currently
right.
bottled in Major League Baseball.
It was
You went to
very
baseball
nice.
Mecca. You
You did.
It was very nice to watch the Phillies win. You're right. That was a nice little refresher.
No, and here's the good thing. You were being served by the sommelier, Joe Madden, who is known to enjoy a glass of wine after the games. Unfortunately, he pulled out a bottle that had obviously corked and had gone bad.
Mhm.
It looked like maybe it was going to be saved a little bit, but clearly that was just that was just
they're just
a
short.
false nose. That really that bottle was bad, but that's okay.
Yeah. No, it was fun
No?
for me.
No?
It was fun.
Okay.
No, Aaron commented, he said, see, but the Cardinals' version of failure is still a winning season. Let's take it easy there, Aaron. Let's knock on some wood and be a little careful.
Lately it has been, but right now they're teetering on that line right now, especially if they continue with the trend that they've been on the last month.
Yeah, let's put it this way. Our cup is half full, but just as you said, it's on the edge and the cat is coming by and is starting to eyeball it to knock it right on off the table. So if we could start sipping instead of staring, that would be great.
I'm sure you'd enjoy that. All right. So what does the week ahead hold for you guys? I mean, obviously we're coming into Memorial Day weekend. Do you have any big plans ahead?
I do. My friend who also graduated from college.
Is this your boyfriend?
It is not.
Okay.
It is actually the other show that I do. What my co-host from that, Blake Root, he is having a graduation celebration, and he gifted those coming with tickets to the Brewers game. So I will be watching Philly again, and hopefully we'll watch Philly win again. That would be lovely. So that's what I'll be doing this weekend.
Okay.
That'll be fun.
Okay.
Elliott, I'm sorry. Need to finish. What time should we meet you in the parking lot, Brecklyn?
In the parking lot?
Yeah.
Good
Milwaukee
question.
is known for its tailgating.
Yep.
That's true. I've heard we are tailgating. I know hardly any details, though, so I'll be sure to send pictures.
Elliott and I will just wander around the parking lot until we find you. That's fine.
Perfect.
So on your way up, stop at the Brat Stop, exit 344.
And at the Mars Cheese Castle.
No, because the Brat Stop has cheese there, so you don't need to go to the Mars Cheese Castle.
No, Brecklyn needs to go to the Mars Cheese Castle.
It's overrated.
Yes, exactly. She still needs to go.
Because
it's got the words
the
cheese
Brat
and
Stop,
castle in it, though.
The Brat Stop has a bar. You can buy packaged beer. You can buy cheese, and the.
Brecklyn, the one thing you do need to do, while you're there, you can stop at any grocery store, but probably your best bet is going to be to go to Woodman's. You need to pick up a 6-pack of New Glarus beer. Take your pick.
Brat Stop.
Brat Stop. Okay, there you go.
You can get it at the Brat Stop.
Any grocery store is gonna carry it. The reason why you need to pick it up is because it's only sold in Wisconsin.
Good to know. Okay.
And they have prosecuted people. Well, they have sued people for violating those terms, for running across the border, picking it up, and then taking it back into their state. I think it was Minnesota is the most recent one I heard of.
They shut down a bar in Minnesota
they shut down a bar in Minnesota.
New Glarus and serving it in Minnesota.
No way.
Yeah,
All
so
right.
you can only get it in Wisconsin. So while you're there, be sure to pick up at least a 6-pack for yourself. Spotted Cow is the one that everybody knows.
2 women.
I think, yeah. What's the one I'm thinking of? Totally Naked should be on store shelves now.
Yep, it is.
If you really want to live on the edge, you want to combine 2 women that are totally naked. I'm not talking about the beer. But while you're up there, you definitely want to pick that up. What else? Where else you need? What time is the game?
1:10, I believe.
Okay. So what are the plans for after the game?
I don't know.
Okay,
you can go to Miller Brewing Company tour.
You could. It's not too far away from the park, then you need to head into the city, and you guys need to spend the end of your evening at the Safe House.
Ooh,
At the Safe House.
Yes, at the Safe House.
First you're talking about 2 naked women, and now you're talking about the Safe House.
No. Talking about 2 women totally naked.
Totally naked.
Completely different. Not 2 naked women. 2 women totally naked. Those are 2 beers. Okay.
But you said not the beers. All right. Anyway, so
I was
Safe
talking
House.
about myself, not you. Yeah, but wrap the night up at the Safe House. It's right downtown, right near the river on Front Street.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
You can miss it.
Okay.
You can miss it.
Yes, that's the point. You can miss it.
Because you got to knock on the door and then you have to do something silly to get in.
Oh, and apparently, look at this. And Jacob just chiming in here, reminding everybody after the game, tune into Whose Division Is It Anyway? The podcast making a return. Is that a post-finals reinvention that we're going to see?
Finally, because first Jacob and Blake graduated and were moving, and then I graduated and was moving. And so we should be on schedule about 7:00 to be able to all broadcast. We will see what will happen. We will all 3 be in the same room together. So it'll be interesting. We'll find a way to make it happen. So
you guys should record it live from the Safe House.
From the Safe House.
Oh, geez.
If they would let us do that, we could just have a full-on panel.
They totally would.
Brecklyn, I did live updates from Miller Park one time, and it was not good.
Not good.
So we'll be looking forward to that.
Sounds good.
Elliott, what are your plans for Memorial Day?
Well, since it's supposed to rain here in Illinois, it's probably going to be a lot of inside. We're gonna be in Sandwich at my parents', so
nice.
Taking the little guy down. Hopefully, we can get some break in the weather and maybe do some swimming since it'll at least be semi-warm. Dad's got a heater on the pool. Open house here if you want to come by my house on Sunday. So yeah, just we'll see what the weekend brings. Not a whole lot.
And by my house, you mean Papa Dewey's house, right? Not your house that you've purchased in the suburbs. Or do you?
No, we haven't bought a new house yet. We just
I was clarifying.
Yeah, somebody buy this house, please.
I was gonna say
Wisconsin.
I would end up going to Sandwich, and then Elliott be like, "Yeah, follow me. I want to show you something." And then he'd drive me to his other house and say, "See here," and then try to sell it to me.
Elliott, you really should throw a link to the MLS listing up in the comment section right now, and we'll probably toss that in the podcast notes as well if you can give it to us. Buy Elliott's house. Heck, that may be the episode title instead of Pie a la mode, because we really haven't talked about the fact that this is our pie episode very much. Buy Elliott's house. I think that's the episode title, and we'll include the MLS listing in there.
increase its value by signing one of the walls in the house, and then we can say
There you go.
signed by.
Well, you can have the measurements of how much my son's grown since we moved in his bedroom. So
You're
Aw.
wow. You're gonna allow people. You're gonna charge them extra for that, right?
yeah, it's seriously like we just measured him today. He's probably grown over a foot in about the 3 years that we've been here.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
What about you, Pete?
Me, I got not a lot planned. This is the start of one of my hell weeks with my job. So, we have a big event tomorrow for 757 students, and then you
Wow.
throw in the chaperones and the other adults who will attend. So we're basically planning an event for 800. That's tomorrow morning, and then next Thursday night. The reason why we won't be doing a show next week, I mean, unless you guys want to do it, which if you do, knock yourselves out. The reason we won't be doing a show next week is because we have our prom. So we will bus roughly 1,100 kids on 22 charter buses down to the Aon Grand Ballroom. That's contractually, I have to refer to it as that. The Aon Grand Ballroom at the end of Navy Pier. We'll be there till midnight, and then we will load about 850 of those kids onto 2 of the cruise ships, and they will do a midnight cruise for 3 hours. And
wow.
I'll get home about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning on Friday.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah. So I don't have a whole lot planned for this weekend because it's just going to be my opportunity to rest. I am going to go visit a friend down in Indianapolis, and we had talked about catching the Indy 500, but the weather looks pretty terrible. So instead, we're just going to drink and watch the 500 on TV, which
There you
will
go.
be
so sad.
just as entertaining. Someday, I will blow my ears out on the infield of the Indy 500, but it doesn't look like this year is going to be that day.
I tell you
Someday.
what, those Indy 500 the NASCAR, or is that
No,
the
that's open wheel.
Open. Okay,
You're thinking the Brickyard 500, still
Brickyard.
done on the Speedway, but
yeah. I went to Talladega once. It's ridiculous.
well, you know this because you were there. You could hear the Speedway from Ron's house. Where they lived before.
Charlotte
They were-
Motor.
Yeah, they were what a mile or two away from the Speedway.
Yeah,
It was
like
ridiculous. It was
1.2.
like the cars were driving right by the house.
Yeah.
It was
Jeez.
insane.
That's why people wear the earphones, the noise canceling earphones, when you're at the track.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's nuts.
Definitely.
That's-
I've never been there, but I've heard that. Have you ever been on a track, Elliot? Like a high speed?
Yeah.
So I've heard that the bank on the track is ridiculous. It's pretty much like
nuts.
this.
You can't stand.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew this
It
was
mean
built
you,
for
like,
speed.
you-
I didn't know
climb-
it like you couldn't stand on it.
You got to like climb it on all fours.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And it's built for speed. So one of the things that I've heard that that amateurs struggle with is they go into those turns and they get scared and they start to slow down. And the guys who are in the car with them literally will reach over and slam their foot to the ground to hold down, because that is how the track is designed and that's how the cars are designed.
Because
They're
when you're
designed-
going fast, it pulls you against the wall.
And
It's a physics thing. So.
And that's why the bank is the way that it is so
Right.
that they can go at those high speeds and they don't have to slow down nearly as much.
right,
Just a matter of staying in the line.
right.
It's impressive. I'd love to see it sometime.
It's pretty cool. So,
Yep.
even if you don't go to the track, if you go to the Charlotte, if you go to the NASCAR museum, Uptown Charlotte, they've actually have one inside the building that will show you what the bank is like.
Wow. All right. So before we wrap things up, here's one of the things. Brecklyn, how long are you in Chicago?
Good question. I am leaving Saturday morning for Wisconsin,
Okay.
and then I am coming back on Monday for a boyfriend family get together. But plans after that haven't been decided.
So you have no immediate plans to return to Iowa?
No, just probably pretty soon after Monday. So like Tuesday, Wednesday.
What's your week look like next week?
Just work during the week.
Yeah. Guys, the Chicago Dogs.
in
have
Schaumburg.
have a home series Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Ooh.
Now, Monday, obviously, I'm sure we'll all be spoken for.
Yeah, Monday
Yeah.
will be with family.
But Tuesday, they got a 7:05 start.
I can see if I can talk our way into staying through Tuesday.
E,
I had
you
no
wanna drive?
problems.
What do you think?
That's a long drive home. I'm still almost 2 hours from home.
Yeah, that's
From
fair.
in
After the
Schaumburg?
game.
It's 2 hours from Schaumburg?
It's an hour. and
No, it's
15.
no.
Yeah, it is. Hour 15.
Really?
Hour
Okay.
20. Yeah.
Hour 15 though. That's reasonable, especially with a 10 o'clock. I mean, it'll be done by 10.
Yeah.
Who knows? Carlos Zambrano may be on the mound.
He might be.
Wait, he's coming back as a reliever, right?
No, starter.
Is he starting?
I think so.
Wow.
Oh. E. If
Yeah.
Big Z gets the nod, come on, we got to do this. All right, folks, we
Let's
may
look at
have a
it.
special broadcast Tuesday night live from Chicago Dog Stadium in Rosemont. Keep an eye on the page, on the Facebook page. We may have an update for you. If this is going to happen, we want you to join us. If you're in the Chicago area, we will let you know. I think we need to make this happen. Hell
Well,
yeah.
you know what? You go to the Chicago Dogs Facebook page, and Big Z is on the front.
He
Wow.
is. He's not only on the front of the Facebook page, he's on the landing page for the team.
Yeah.
You go to
Dang.
chicagodogs.com. He is there. You know what? They have a home. They have a 6-game homestand starting on Monday. Just saying.
Well, it sounds like we have some
Just-
plans to make.
I think we do. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us. It's good to have all three of you guys back. Three of you guys talking about Aaron, of course. Come on, please. But thank you for joining us tonight. When we're not live on Facebook at Team of Rivals Podcast, you can find us online at Twitter at Team of Rivals Pod. We obviously have the website, teamofrivalspodcast.com, and we're on Instagram at Team of Rivals Podcast. You can contact us by email at the show at teamofrivalspodcast.com. On Twitter, you can find Elliott at
TOR_Elliott.
You can find Brecklyn at
Carry on cards.
And you can find Ron, maybe, at TUR_Ron75.
He's been active lately, so
He has. He's been much more active.
Go catch him. Go
If you're
find him.
listening to us after the fact, why not give Radio Public a try? Radio Public is a free platform that throws a couple of pennies our way every time you listen. Otherwise, catch us anywhere you listen to podcasts: iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, and Google Podcasts. And if you would like some of your own Team of Rivals gear, I've got plenty of it behind me on the shelves. Don't forget to visit the team store on Zazzle. With that, any last notes, guys?
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Detective Pikachu was good.
Stop.
What?
John Wick 3 was good.
I can't take my 5-year-old to see that.
Sure you can.
Fair. That's
It's
fair.
fantasy violence. It's not
Oh,
realistic.
Come on.
Come on. After the first 5 headshots, you become completely desensitized. Your 5-year-old will be fine.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And then he'll start doing that at school. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah. And?
And they get suspended.
You're a teacher.
No, I'm not. I'm a director of student activity.
Okay, well, you work at a school.
There's the difference. All right, folks. Thanks for joining us. We will see you next week.
Bye.